Hi, what are you doing?
Just working on some S-hook project, and then I found some of these old hooks. And so in the midst of doing that, I'm trying to get a little more organized with my shop here.
Oh.
I was looking for S-hooks earlier because I had some, and anyways, I didn't find any, but I found these hooks that I made a long time ago.
Let's see them.
So I'm going to hang them.
Oh, I remember these.
What are you guys doing?
We are done with school, and I thought I'd come see what you're working on out here in the garage.
Well, anyways, I thought I had some S-hooks that I made a long time ago, and I didn't. So, obviously, the time that it took me to make that S-hook, I could have went to Home Depot and bought 50,000 S-hooks, right? But I couldn't buy an S-hook like that.
That's good.
Why do you say? Do you get in the forge and build something like this that took probably an hour and a half?
Why, babe?
Well, because I'm a simple-minded man, and beating on my anvil makes me happy.
Yeah.
So
more so than computer work, that's for sure.
Yes, you get behind the computer and my blood pressure goes up. Jennifer can attest to that yesterday.
Yes.
So anyhow, so the project is making S-hooks. Now, you can make these S-hooks very, very simple where you're not really forging it at all. All you're doing is bending it. You could probably make 17 really fast by the time you could go to Home Depot and buy 95,000, right? So if you want to make them a little nicer, you can spend the time. But if you don't want to, then you don't have to. You can just bend them up and use them. So I started with 3/4 inch square bar, and these are 5 inches long. And I forged it and stretched it out, and it was 10 inches. So I doubled the size by forging it out. So I also built this little jig here. So what this is going to do, I didn't use this jig for this particular hook, but what this is going to do is when everything is ready to bend, I'll stick this side right down in here, and then I'll bend it around this little pipe.
Super cool.
So one thing that you need to know if you're making these little jigs, a plug weld on this little part right here is much better. You drill a hole, you stick your little rod in there, and then you weld it from the underneath side. So now you have a nice flat, clean surface right here. And then the pipe, I didn't have to do a plug weld, I just welded on the inside, and now I have a nice clean surface along the outside there.
Awesome.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark these two pieces of 5-inch square bar here. And I'm marking them for a couple different reasons. I want to be able to find the center, and then I want to mark kind of right where I'm going to start forging out the end. So I did 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches right here and right here, and that's where I began to forge it. And so I am going to mark the center also. That's going to help me when I start my twist right in the center. And then we're going to mark this with my file right here, and then that way I can see where those are when it's hot, because those little lines will disappear. So you might be thinking to yourself, all right, so far I could be 2 miles down the road by now to go to Home Depot to buy these hooks. You're probably right.
They're not hand forged though.
They're not hand forged.
With love.
It's one of those things that it's like, if you can provide for yourself, well then provide for yourself. Is it cheaper? Yeah, it's probably cheaper. Some people look at forging like prepping, right? Oh, they're going to have these skills, so if everything goes wrong, they can prep. Well, it's not about prepping. It's about having the stuff now. You're using it right now. You're not saving it for later. So anyways, and it's nice to go down to the barn or wherever you're at and see something that you've made.
We need
Okay, so I'm gonna mark that just with my center punch too. And then we'll get going on this project. Like I said, nothing spectacular we're doing here. Not like super advanced blacksmithing. Typically the stuff that I'm building, it's just stuff that we can use. That's all it is. It's not like I'm a blacksmith, professional blacksmith that sells things and... You hear that? Mm-hmm. Look at her. But I like to build things for around the house.
Yes, we have coat hooks and what other things have you built for the house?
Curtain rods.
Curtain rods, that's my favorite. We've got ornaments every year that we put up on our tree, which that's a lot of fun.
Yep.
Oh, our stocking holders for the fireplace.
Holders, yep.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun. It's a hobby, isn't it?
It is. We have fun doing it. The kids sometimes get in here and help. Lincoln helped me punch the square hole in the toilet paper holder yesterday.
Yeah.
He did a lot of help with that until he got hot. So
Yeah.
it's like 32 degrees or 35 degrees or something outside when you get the fire going in here, and it gets a little toasty. So
Yes.
all right, so we've got our stock hot, and we found our mark. We know where to start. Lincoln's running the camera here and doing a fine job of it. So I'm just starting right here at my mark, and I'm going to draw this out. It is not super complicated. The more you do it, the more you'll be able to control your hammer blows. And the faster you'll be at it. The heaviest part of your anvil is right in the center. So you always want to try to work in this center area because that's where the most mass is underneath. And then you use your hammer and more metal moves. The metal moves faster. And if you notice, I am moving the metal in my tongs. I am not moving my hammer. I'm trying to concentrate my hammer in the same spot, and then I'm moving the material. And like I said, I drew this thing out twice the size, so I'm looking for about 10 inches. It doesn't have to be precise, but somewhere pretty close. Now I'm going to work on the other side, and it's just a bunch more of the same thing. So, literally, that only took like 4 or 5 seconds to get those to this point.
4 or
now-
5 seconds?
Now, I don't... Right. Cinch that down. Maybe if I start right here, I won't get in your way. square tubing, or 1x3 inch tubing. I cut that piece out last night so I could use it for the toilet paper holder, because I was at a flat bar. And so anyways, I decided to use that for this jig. Alright, I used it for tongs this time. It's ready. So, that one is going to fit right in there. Look, you guys watching? Looky there.
Looks great.
Worked just like I planned.
So the last time you made an S hook like this, you just forged it over the horn of your anvil?
Yep. Which is fun too. There's nothing wrong with that.
Seems easier this way.
Yep. Make sure I bend it the correct way. I mean, it's as easy as that. Look at that. See, I just did it. I just did what I said not to do. Some of that slag off of it. Hang that right there. Looky there.
You think the chickens are going to appreciate these, honey?
Oh yeah, they asked me if I could make these for them.
Did they ask you?
Oh yeah, they did. Alright, now my brush is just getting the slag off of it, the impurities out of the metal, just to make it look a little nicer. Obviously, the chickens don't care.
Only the best for our chickens.
And then I think maybe I want to kind of close that just a little bit. So I'm going to just set it right up here. And close that. Look at that.
You did it.
And then, yeah, that's pretty straight.
Now that I know that you have this jig built, then you can build these so much faster.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that maybe I need some S-hooks for some plants outside.
There we go. And now when that cools just a little bit, the jig's hot. I'm going to put some paste on these so they won't rust. See there? Okay, so now to keep this from rusting outside, you can get this paste wax and put it on when it's just a little bit warm. I have a tendency to not be patient and wait for it to cool. And then when I put it on, it makes it pretty dark. The other one, I did a really good job. I was very patient. The other one, I cleaned up a little bit with my file also. But I don't really think I need to do that. So, we'll put some of this paste wax on here. You can also just use beeswax. It just conditions the metal, and then it won't rust as easily. And that's that. So Like I said,
Shiny.
if you wanted just to build it super easy, and you wanted hooks this size, you could just cut you about 10 inches of stock, and then just bend it into the S shape, and you probably couldn't make it to Home Depot quicker than you could make those. So anyhow, there you have it.
Okay, here we are.
All right, so now we've got our S-hooks made, and now we'll show you what we're going to use them for. It's a good thing it's feeding time because the chickens are out of water. Hey, Link, you should come get the chickens' waters and fill them up. So these snaps, see the snaps, right? Well, these are better for snapping the, the chain on the gate or something than using these. So we're just hanging these here. We may have to adjust our wire. But look, there we go. A couple hours building S-hooks to hang the water on. And then you got this one over here.
Woohoo, Lincoln!
We'll end up leaving this one, but look at this one. Look at this. Look at the difference. We got a store-bought one. Just no comparison, right?
You did a good job.
No comparison. So we'll keep this one around, obviously, because we can use it. But we have found that keeping the feed and the water up off the ground is very, very helpful with the chickens because they can't dump it over and they can't poop in it. So that's kind of nice, keeping them up.
No poop in your food.
No poop in the food. We don't want that.
Yeah, those have been really handy.
Yeah.
Great job.
So that's it.
Problem solved.